recap, last time we made it to Vorador's mansion, and we had a drink with the nice man himself, and he gave us his ring to summon him if we ever need his help, because Malik is still out there being an asshole. I did make a boo-boo, because from the dining room here, you are meant to go this way and not backtrack through the entire mansion, because this way lies the entirety of the rest of the game. But I had my reasons for that, which we are going to address right now. My mistake. This is the save room. You're meant to go this way. You may also recall from last time we went to the Lost City and got about a third of the secrets in the entire game in one spot. Really, dude? There we go. Oh, so the reason it's so loud is because I forgot to... No, I guess I did. It's just that loud. Let's bring it down a bit more. So, the reason I got so sidetracked was because if we look at the menu here, we have 70 out of 100. We're supposed to have 71, and I couldn't for the life of me figure out what was going on. I had it narrowed down to one thing that I thought was true, and I was half right. So what I did was, I replayed the entire game up until this point, because I am mad, and I figured it out. Last night it was my haha, fuck you moment when I fucking got it, and I feel proud of myself, and now I'm going to recreate this for you all right now. So, we missed a secret somewhere along the way. I thought it was part of the mana bank, Spirit Forge, and it was, but not really. So, to recap, Spirit Forges are where you go. Each one is dedicated to a specific item, and you can go into them. You can donate most of your blood and get some free items. You basically get 10 of whatever the forge is dedicated to at the cost of being near death in the process. I also forgot to touch this last time. Now I have a warp point back to Vorador's mansion, but I've also got that bat beacon behind it, which is what we're actually going to use. All that meant was when I did this again, I had to walk through the whole damn swamp because I forgot one stupid thing and forgot where it was. Anyway. So each of the spirit banks has, or the spirit forges has a back door, a teleporter somewhere in the world that you can use to warp directly to the spirit forge without having to go there manually. The forge for energy bank is in this bottom left corner down here with that crack in the wall. Remember, you can turn into mist, you can go through the crack. And normally, you get one secret for going to the forge, and you get a second for using the back door. And there were other forges where we went through the back door before we even went into the forge, and we got both of the secrets simultaneously. That's normal. That's fine. In fact, 2 of them that we've done already, the spirit forges themselves are behind moon gates, and so you don't have to wait for the 2 hours for the moon to cycle through. And that's normally how you can get into them. All jolly, all good so far. Now, the Spirit Forge back door is in the little mini dungeon here for mind control, right? And I had done it. I had done it a bunch. I had, you take control of one of these guys, and you send him through. And you put him on that teleporter, and that sends him to the Spirit Forge. And you can also get the nice, the benefit of getting the items. Kain gets the items, even though this is the guy who gets sacrificed. but it still kept us at 70 instead of 71. So I went through the entire game again. I double-checked the list every time I got a secret, and it all worked until I got to this back door and nothing happened. And I was real fucking confused. But I had narrowed it down to this one. I read a bunch of forums on the internet, old posts from 20 fucking years ago, and everyone just kind of agreed it was a glitch and there wasn't a whole lot of information because, frankly, this game is not that popular. So I figured it was a lost cause, but I had the time and I went through here. I went through every iteration I could think of. I sent all 4 of the guys into the teleporter just in case that was it. Nothing worked there. I crawled all around the room, and that's when I noticed that spot of light below me. I had never bothered to go over on this side because why would you? That's Secret 71. Well, actually, it's like Secret 32, but we're up to 71 now. The other thing that now makes sense in retrospect is every time I did this, I had to take the Sanctuary spell to get out because there was no way out. Because that switch opens up this, which can now get Kain to the Spirit Forges, which gets him outside. This is both the secret and the exit to the dungeon that I had never fucking noticed. And here we are. Hooray. I swear to God, I was near delirious last night when I fucking got this. So it's done. We can get all 100 after all. That's the important thing, right? No. That's the monkey in my brain that tries to complete things. We are, however, today going to start getting into some of the meatier parts of the plot. Vorador is kind of your introduction to, like, the real story starts here. So it is paced oddly. They definitely could have woven that together. Also, it's very difficult on this map screen to determine where you're gonna... I just want that one marker there. The pacing of the structure is fucking weird. I can't deny that. But to its credit, what it does do is it gives you a long time to immerse yourself in the world before it starts throwing the bulk of the story at you. Vorador is kind of where that starts. And you, by this point, we are pretty strong. Like, we are not going to face too many meaty challenges from here on out as far as, combat goes.
Flame sword.
This sword and this armor and the amount of items that we have amassed, we are pretty good. Like, we can die 80 times without penalty. We're fine. And I do appreciate the fact that it builds you up to this level of power first and then kicks the story in earnest.
With clear knowledge of what sort of monster I would become if I let my curse consume me. And with an ally for the future.
Because that means you are now... It fast-tracks you into being one of the major players in what is a pretty significant story. So.
A triad congregates at the roof of the world, Kain. A plot to twist the land, to shape the world. North is where your vengeance lies.
A triad. This is our next target on our list. Finicky wolf jumps. Yep. But yeah, I have a sword that's on fire. I have armor that if they hit me, they get that damage also. It's gonna take a lot to intimidate me at this point. Which isn't to say that there aren't ways for them to do that. There's definitely some challenges, but we are now badass vampire lord. Even though we're technically still kind of a fledgling. We're that young and dumb kind of vampire power. Okay, so that was Secret 72. Also, we're still Princess Kain, which I love. Young, dumb, and full of blood.
The axes.
So these... The crows are not targetable. They are projectiles. They are essentially the same as the energy bolts that those wizard monsters throw at you. You're gonna get hit because they're huge and they home on you really good. That one was just kind of hanging out. That was Secrets 73 and 74. Sometimes, what are they even trying? Anyway, the best thing to do is just rush the crows and rush through the crows, kill the scarecrow. There's not a whole lot you can do. Fortunately, the scarecrows are not very durable. They're made of straw. We have fire. The knockback is your biggest pain in the ass. If you happen to have a couple of crows lined up, it can bounce you and be really irritating, but it's not that big a deal. Okay, so we are going into this town, and now that we've gone over this northern passage, I'm going to loop all the way back around because I really want to approach this town from the front, because this town is kind of important. And all of the explanation vista markers tend to be toward the front of the town. Also, a workaround, if you have the flame sword and you don't want to dick around with the menu, you can turn into the wolf, and the claws will allow you to feed.
In my travels, I learned much about the legend of Janos Audron. Here in this quaint pastoral village of Ustenheim, that dark enemy was born. Janos preyed upon its peasants until he was finally hunted down and executed.
This is the second time we are hearing about the great vampire Janos Audron. The first was when we found our first Heart of Darkness.
Reputed to have been ripped from the chest of the greatest vampire to have ever existed, Janos Audron, the Heart of Darkness restores vampiric unlife. Life is precious, Janos discovered, as it was torn, throbbing and bleeding from his own body.
I also appreciate that you can go back at any time and re-listen to the clips from when you found the items.
Slow time.
Just to let Simon Templeton's voice acting, like, you can experience it as much as you like. And also, there are some items that you get these sorts of things.
Nupraptor's head. Alas, poor Nupraptor, I knew him well. Well, not really.
So William Shakespeare exists in the land of Nosgoth. Also, Kain just continues to be a sassy bitch about it. But yeah, so you can get some voice clips that aren't part of the actual, picking up of the item process.
Turning the ring over in my hands, I realized that it was crafted from some strange alloy formed from broken teeth, ground down and soaked in blood.
Gross. These sorts of key items,
signet ring.
The ones with an asterisk underneath them, those will all have special dialogue when you click on them, like that. Everything else
cleanses my body of any dangerous.
This is just identical to the same
antitoxin.
The same little blurb you get when you first pick up the item. That goes for...
My enemies are quite vicious, and the Chaos Armor extracts from them a heavy price.
Goes for equipment, goes for spells.
This allows me to enslave my enemies, giving me control of their body.
So it gives you access to all of that.
Mind.
But it's only the key items that have anything like Easter eggy or special behind it. something you can't see anywhere else, you know? But yes, Janos Audrin terrorized this small town of Ustenheim until he was hunted down and had his heart ripped from his chest, and now we have 80 of his heart. Except that we have 80 of them. We have it, and it can be used 80 times. Let's go with that. And this door is locked. So this is a very obtuse. I never got this before. I only know about this because I'm following the secrets guide, right? So in order to open that door, we need to go all the way back here. I don't know how anyone was meant to figure this out on their own. That's the wrong way.
Does your patience with the Seraphim grow thin, vampire? Dogs come only when their masters call. I believe some members of the Circle have banished themselves north. Perhaps Dark Eden is the snare you seek.
Ariel told me then that the easiest way to find Malik was to force his hand. The ward was sworn to defend the members of the Circle, and so if one of the Circle was threatened, Malik would appear to protect them. She spoke of an unholy union between 3 of the wizards of the Circle, and directed me to their Dark Eden.
Huh, I never actually came back and listened to that. They give you the Vista marker for Dark Eden, and I just kind of went straight from there. Ain't that neat? But yes, we have a goal now, because if we go and try to kill 3 of them at once, nice of the Circle to bunch up like that, then Malik will have to come and protect them, and then that'll be 4 all in one location. They have to make up time for the fact that we haven't killed, we've only killed 1 of the Circle so far. So we have to go back through this crypt. Gonna just be myself again because I'm getting all slippy slidey. Huh, guess I can't go down. That's annoying. Fine, we'll come from the other side. The side's probably actually faster anyway, but we got that conversation with Ariel, so that was fun. So what we want to do is we go to... There was a puzzle in this crypt. It was one of the first things we had to solve, puzzle, quote unquote. just to progress through the game. And we have to re-unsolve it. And it's right here. We have to push that switch so that all three of them, and I think if I'm reading this right, that has opened that door in that one house in Ustenheim. Now, that's obtuse. That's fucking nutty. I've never seen that before. And it's going to lead to a thing that I explicitly said in the first episode doesn't exist. Because I never found it. And I'm hoping that worked, because this is going to be kind of cool. For me. And hopefully for you. And everybody watching at home. And yes, it is one of the 100 secrets, but it's also is this house? Yes. It is one of the 100 secrets, but it is also something that is very, very useful. It is the Heart of Darkness Spirit Forge.
One must be wary in dealing with the spirit forges. The wraiths and shades that inhabit them offer items beyond mortal dreams in exchange for a sampling of your blood. The wraithsmiths forge their items with forfeit souls.
Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours. So, you come to the Spirit Forge for help, do you, vampire? Trade your secrets for the blood of the dead, I will.
Sounds good. Oh, it only gives you 2. Still, though, we can now manipulate this to get more Hearts of Darkness if we ever need them. We also have 76 secrets.
Shed your blood for me, and these artifacts will be yours.
So that's cool. Never knew this was here. I would have just assumed they wouldn't give you a forge for this, because obvious reasons. But they balanced it by giving you only 2. Because normally you get 10. Another one of these sawtooth mole creatures. I don't rightly know where we are. I don't know what this door is. Fine by me. I can turn into a bat. Let's see. Just out of curiosity. Yeah, nope, doesn't say anything. It's fine. On our way to Dark Eden. Yeah, one of the downsides, I think, something that I would change if I had been involved was to take out the vista markers that let you fly directly to the important places, and instead put those places on your map when you get to them, because you can skip over big chunks of this game just by... I'm actually gonna...
Iron sword.
So, you can skip over big chunks of this game just by flying from there. Like, you could have gone straight to Dark Eden from that one vista marker and skipped over all of Ustenheim. Which, you know, in this incarnation is... This woman's got one of those sawtooth mole things as a pet. In this incarnation, it's not that different from any of the other towns that we've come across, but as far as the larger story, it is Janos Audrin's home, and that will become important. I think we've got one more. Alright. Also, we've got so many items that most of the time we can't even pick them up anymore. They are just full. Also, we're going to start using some items just to show off their usefulness. They do have some different utilities. I haven't used them much thus far. Mostly because the early enemies you can either avoid or just hack and stab to death. But when we start getting to things more than just your typical skeletons and whatnot. Oh, here's where we... Wow, this is looking similar to where we were. There is some utility in different... We've seen a couple of them.
The poor wretch was warped beyond recognition. To think it was once human.
Kain, your xenophobia is showing.
Such strange creatures that had been spawned by this dark magic. Things half insect and half mammal. Human torsos grafted onto abominations of the flesh. Sick as it was, I couldn't help but admire its creator's ingenuity.
So you can get poisoned, which we should deal with. We're going to want to keep that antidote
Antitoxin.
handy. So, as far as the items go, obviously the antidote cures your poison.
Ages flow so sweet. Come,
And I think we've shown this off before, but if you drink green blood, it does put blood in your vial.
Energy recovers more quickly, for our blood enhances.
Even though it poisons you. So you can use the antitoxins to drink a bunch of blood. And we'll definitely be using this here. You can drink a bunch of poison blood. And you see that poison takes you down real fast. But watch this. Oh, wait, I need a free hand. These things, oddly enough, do not have poison blood. Also, notice there, your good blood and your bad blood stay separate. So the poison will drain your bad blood. And your good blood as well, apparently. Must just been a graphical glitch. It's like, oh, that was a thing I never knew before. Nah, it turns out the graphics just got maybe this guy's got poison blood. Hey, you got green blood? Yeah, you do. So it fills up. And from one, you kind of lose it right away, but if you can get multiple, you can take a lot of blood in and then clean it. And it's a good way to stay healthy when there's nothing but bad blood around. I think I can mist over this. Nope.
The Heart of Darkness.
Well, I can invincibility frames over it.
The Heart of Darkness.
All of that just to get a Pentalich. Pentaliches are actually fairly useful, but I have so many of them. That switch was number 77. Rad. And that is it for secrets in this area. Cool. So the Pentalich, having accidentally used one just there, it affects everything on screen. You don't have to aim it. So it is a screen clear. It is phenomenally useful. Is this back the way? Nope, this is forward. So getting hit once by these things is causing us to poison, right? So we're probably going to want to try to avoid that from now on. The Flay will home. The downside is it will home directly, so they can very easily cover to avoid it. But in that case, that wall didn't actually exist in a place where it could have done that, so we're fine there. But yeah, you got to keep that into account when using the Flay. The Implode we showed off a bunch before. They're a straight line, but they do hit everything in a splash radius, so that's good.
If it could be said that a land descended into madness, 'twould be an accurate account of Dark Eden. A garden of horrors, seeded with sick perversion of nature's design. I knew that this Dark Eden I had trespassed upon would continue to grow until all of Nosgoth was consumed.
So yeah, the triumvirate we're going to take out, they have been corrupting the lands. Creating these weird abomination creatures. And here we are back to where the Heart of Darkness came out. A boulder we cannot push. done it in one if you had stayed close together, shovel moles.
Magic seethed and shifted. I watched the dome of energy as it expanded, absorbing and recreating, consuming life and leaving behind only a twisted parody.
You can see even the ground is starting to become more corrupted as we get further and further north. So, something we're going to want to keep in mind for the near future. There's a lot of lava. Looks like the... not on this screen yet. Hold that
I
flag.
passed through the wall unharmed. It seemed the magic only preyed on things that were alive and pure. Or perhaps it simply decided that I was twisted enough.
He's talking about that red dome we saw from the Vista marker, guarding off this section. Now we are fully inside Dark Eden, and where the Guardians have trapped the citizenry and stuff, and have created their little paradise. I appreciate how the visual design suggests that this is going to just continue to spread and creep out if we don't take care of it now. Just the way it all seeps down into the southern areas that we just came up through. Yeah, one green-blooded in the entire group and I get poisoned, but that's what the antitoxins are for. It's hard to see their little spines, but they shoot out in, the 8 directions. So if you can stay just to the side of, those compass rose points as you were, you're fine. It's a very narrow gap, and sometimes it's hard to fit in. And if you don't have to fight them, sometimes you don't have to fight them. Now, we could run across this like we did last time. In fact, I am now realizing what we were meant to do last time. Instead of dying, is we were supposed to have done this. I didn't realize that at the time, but retroactively, we are all better than we were yesterday now, I suppose. And much like Symphony of the Night, it's the knockback that gets you more than anything else. Anything over here? Nope. What have we here?
A tower stood in the distance. From its apex spewed the vortex of energy that shaped the lands below.
Aww. And there's the Dark Eden. There's the epicenter of all this madness. Take a quick stroll around just to see if there's anything worthwhile. Might as well do it as a wolf, make it all faster. Well, hello. Thank you for that lunch, friends. Anything over here? Nope. All right. There are no secrets inside Dark Eden, so we get to just explore. After we save. Also, that cave we stepped in on, that cave right there, keep that in the back of your mind. We don't want to forget about that cave. But we got to do this first.
The surface of the castle belied its interior, for it was far larger inside than out. With the powers the Circle had at its disposal, it would have been simple to distort space to accommodate this
Accommodate this what?
strange structure.
And that's how easy it is when you make liberal use of your items. You can also just chuck out 4, and they will course correct automatically to get to where they need to. So if the thing dies, they will seek out the next thing.
The sorcerer's sanctuary, his laboratory. Inside was all manner of items arcane, pickled bodies, dissected corpses, both man and beast, and metal construct that heaved arcs of energy into the air. I sensed more than one force being manipulated in this place. Strange. Rarely did a sorcerer condescend to work with others.
They're not great at collaborative projects, those sorcerers. Something you do got to keep in mind, for instance, down there, if I had used, say, the Pentalich to do a board clear, it would have taken out the food on the walls as well. So those are just as susceptible to your items. And if, say, you throw too many flay, they will also seek out things on the walls if there are no more enemies nearby. So caution. Let's let up on the flay for a bit. Switch over. Let's see. Walk up here. There we go. Duck down. Yeah, so similar kinds of traps to Malik's Bastion, except this time we've got food. I think I can just... yeah. also we have some tricks we didn't have back then and can just skip over some portions of it. These things are large enough that you don't get the splash damage effect from the implodes if there's more than one nearby. Yeah, the implodes are a straight shot. They will not curve, they will not deviate, but they do their job. Let's save while we're here. Hey, Scruff, Bork indeed. I don't know how long that's been there. I've got a couple of different things all on one screen. It's probably been a minute. So left or right? Let's go this way. We're here. If you let them knock you through the door like that, their health resets. We started seeing some of these lanky-armed guys in the Lost City, and some of the sawtooth mole things in some of the other side caves and side paths we went through. Technically, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense that they exist outside of Dark Eden, because they're supposed to have been created here. Ooh.
The Heart of Darkness.
That was unpleasant. But we won't, I won't bring that up if you don't. I wonder if I can mist through those. I'm not going to try it, because that didn't work out so well on the lava. Ah, it opened up that center door. That's what it did. I wonder what color... Oh, well, it's probably blue. I wonder what color your blood is in the real world. Also, it's a neat nod that monsters and humans come back as ghosts, which they don't really spend any time talking about in the game. I don't think they even like acknowledge it, but it will be a thing. It'll be not insignificant in future games that is a thing that happens. Never explain ghosts. Never, ever explain ghosts. I just watched The Haunting in Connecticut. They tried way too hard to explain the ghosts. I had never seen it before. It was alright. We're gonna want repel for this.
Repel. Antitoxin.
Unfortunately, I don't think I can repel and mist at the same time. Aha. So we got some stuff. We're going to go to the left first, because it'll be the easier one to explain.
How convenient. This armor, wrought with the blood of noblemen, drains the blood from my enemies for me, leaving me to focus on the slaughter at hand.
So,
Flame sword. Flesh armor. The axes.
see what's happening there? Slash. And the blood goes automatically. The problem is that all blood goes automatically. We never have to manually drink again if we're wearing this armor. The fact that it can absorb green blood makes it not a great choice for this particular dungeon. But as you see, that armor combined with these axes means we clear out rooms and we never get hungry. So that is a pretty good combo.
Sword.
But again, we are in Poison Land, so we don't necessarily want to be doing that. Also, it's worth noting, if there's nothing to drink, the armor can't do anything about that. So it doesn't override the flame swords.
Antitoxin.
We're going to stick with the Chaos armor for now.
Chaos armor.
Yeah, see, he gets all of them. Ooh, that was handy. Got the things I wanted and avoided the things I didn't. Curious. Still Princess. We're still Princess Kain. So this one is a bit different. It's a spell. So of course we're going to have to jump through some hoops in order to get to it. I wonder if... yeah. The knockback on those spines don't even want to fuck around in that little corridor. Alright, so here's fun.
It is a spell worthy of the necromancer himself. This allows me to dissect a creature's soul from its vessel of flesh. For these poor wretches, only oblivion awaits.
So what this does is it rips the soul out of their body. It is functionally a more powerful version of the energy bolt, but it is a one-hit kill for any non-boss enemy. We are on the fast track to Elder Vampire.
Ah, not one, but three. Dejul the Energist, Bane the Druid, and Anacroth the Alchemist. How considerate of them to hasten my search.
So the Scourge of the Circle has arrived.
Fear him not, Bane. He is but a whelp. His soul is ours for the taking.
Don't be ridiculous, Malik. To our aid.
Who's... Damn you, Alchemist! I had not come this far only to have my quarry escape.
Vengeance. Vengeance for my eternity of suffering.
Whelp! As if you knew what eternity was.
grovel before your true master. Never. I'll hack you from crotch to gizzard and feed what's left to your brides.
Such a power line. Vorador is
As
my boy.
Vorador clashed against Malik, I gave pursuit to the fleeing wizards, the Jewel and Bane. I danced their dance. When the time came, they would dance upon my sword.
So,
His magic is weak!
Bane Victus!
Bane runs around on the lower portion of the field, creating water. He's a druid. Jewel stands above and spits energy bolts at you. We can counteract that just
He is
easy.
an affront to nature itself.
But Bane
It is
does
our
keep
duty to
giving you less and less space to work with, and you have to keep going more and more in zigzag patterns to avoid his water, or you will get burned. Also, he does contact damage. Repel does not stop that. Ah! Bull rush. Damn you. He also has significantly more health than Nupraptor or Malik did.
Bane Victus!
Well, I guess Malik had infinite health, but he had that, stun. You had to knock him down 3 times kind of thing.
The Heart of Darkness.
There we go. Yeah, you definitely want to deal with Bane first.
The antler headdress had broken in the fight, but power still resided in its ivory form.
If you go after Jewel first, he will continue to make this entire field water. But now that he's dead, Jewel can't really do anything but stand up there and shoot stuff at you. We can shoot stuff too. Jewel has no health. I think you hit her once and she dies. It's just a matter of getting through all of those protective orbs.
The cloak was made from an alloy akin to lead, heavy and malleable, woven into fine links. The energy she controlled was stored in this garment.
And there's Malik's corpse. Vorador done his job and then vamoosed into the night.
I found Malik's helmet amongst the scattered remnants of his armor, whole and intact. Vorador had finally laid his old adversary to rest.
And that's 3 Guardians down in about 5 minutes. Makes up for some of the time we've spent dicking around. Now, all of the corruption of nature was done by the druid. The energist helped him weave in the energies to do that, and the alchemist who helped him change things from one state to another. The alchemist got away. He called for Malik and ran off. So we only got 3 of the 4 that we were facing down. But we did get 3.
The helmet of Malik I placed before the pillar of conflict. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored. The pillar of nature, protected by the druid Bane.
Not anymore.
At the foot of the energy pillar, I set the cloak of Dajul. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored. The antler headdress of the druid Bane I lay before the nature pillar. The pillar accepted its offering. Thus, it was restored.
You must seek Azimuth the Planar at the heart of Avernus. 3 instruments await you to aid you in your quest. But first, you must rise, and you must fall, and find your salvation in between.
The pillar of conflict. The pillar of the mind. The pillar of dimension, protected by the planar azimuth.
This is the one we're off to restore next.
The pillar of balance, once defended by Ariel. The pillars choose their own.
Yes, that's worth noting. So when we killed Nupraptor, we freed the pillar of his influence, and a new Guardian of the Mind has now been selected. Same with Bane, same with Dajul, same with Malik. New Guardians have already been chosen by the pillars as they are born. They will grow to adulthood and then assume their
The pillar
role.
of time, protected by the time streamer Mobius. The pillar of states, protected by the alchemist Anacroth.
He got away from us.
The pillar of death, protected by the necromancer Mortanius.
That's going to be an awkward one because he's kind of our benefactor. That's the Tony J voice. But we have to go to Avernus. I'm going to want to bring Blood Shower back onto my... So, I see your Discworld jokes there, Scruff. So before we head out to Avernus, where our next target waits, remember that cave? I've gotten some conflicting information on this cave that we're going to confirm or deny right now. Fortunately, the bats just drop us off right next to it, so that's fine. Now that Dark Eden's been taken care of, we can get in here. Double save because I don't trust it. I see. Okay. So. Give me all your blood. So this answers 2 questions. What is that cave outside the Heart of Darkness Spirit Forge? All of them dead. Okay, so we are going to be on lookout for the next full moon, because these are, in fact, moon gates. They just look different. Thanks for taking yourself out, bud.
Spiked mace.
I do want to head down this way, though, in order to activate the bat beacon. Because we're going to want to be able to get to this thing quickly when the time comes. Might happen today. I might have to run the clock a bit before the next session. But either way, that's a moon gate. And we have more of this script. This is actually kind of important, but not yet. I will find the translations online when it becomes relevant. Though we are now going to be one secret behind the quota. But that's fine. That'll be fine.
Avernus consumed itself before my eyes. There seemed no easy path to gain entry to the hell laid out before me. Perhaps there was a way inside from above the chaos that reigned there.
So one of the things I neglected to do earlier, when you first get the disguise spell in the Romani camp, and you can disguise yourself as a human, you can actually talk to people. Most of them don't have anything terribly interesting to say, but sometimes they will mention that the caravans from Avernus have not been coming through recently. And Avernus, as we have now seen, is on fire. It is a big cathedral. It's also going to be full of these resurrecting zombies, which is great because we have the flame sword, and if we burn them up, they can't come back. Bit. I'm looking for... Oh, I'm gonna be pretty deep into Avernus before the next secret comes up, so... Anything over here? Just another zombie. The reason some of them don't burn up is they keep hitting my flame armor, and that kills them instead of the fire. Also, that won't burn them, so... Well, I can jump. You can't. I want some blood. So we'll just be a wolf for a second. And I think we've gotten all but one of the blood fountains. Because if you recall, there was a boulder a little ways back we couldn't push, so there's one more strength upgrade to be got from that. But other than that...
Flame sword.
There's a couple more spells, but not many. And, don't know why I felt like burning them
The
up.
gate of Avernus opened slowly before me, daring me to cross the threshold. Who was I to reject such an invitation?
Ariel mentioned that there's going to be three. We're going to find three things to help us in Avernus. That's going to be the last of the equipment this game has to offer. And it's very good. It is very, very good gear.